Hey, thanks so much for being here. Welcome or welcome back. This video is about my planner system for 2026. I finally have, I think, what I'm going to be using for my system. So I wanted to share it with you. So if you're interested, I hope you stick around. First, I wanted to mainly say goodbye to my 2025 V6 with you. I do have a few more days in here, but I will be putting this away on, I don't know, 3 more days. So it's like a bittersweet moment because I have grown so attached to this notebook. It is the one that I have lived in the full year, I guess almost the entire year, after, I don't know, like maybe 3 years that I have been hopping here and there in between systems. I used to actually just use one planner for my entire year until 2022, and that's when I started switching things around, and I craved that one notebook for the year, and this was the year that I had finally made it happen again. And again, it's like a bittersweet moment because you grow attached to it, and then you have to let it go so you can restart in a new one since there's no space. But yeah, if you have been around in the channel for a while, you know how I use this notebook. It's pretty much everything. It's in here. It's my life, my goals, my settings, my thoughts, my memories, pictures, to-dos, planning, everything. It's in here. I have emptied some of these areas in here since I am moving it out. Some things are just trash, so just shred those, and the other ones I just moved away. I can't recycle the pockets, which is something that I wish I could do because they just stay here empty and there's nothing here that I'm holding on those. But anyways, on this area here, I have been tracking the times that we move around. We are a full-time RV living family for the past 5 years, and we like to change sceneries every now and then. So every time we move from a spot to a different one, I color coded with, so the same color means we stayed in that spot for longer, I guess. In this case, we stay there for way too long. But yeah, sometimes you just get comfortable and enjoy the area, so just stay longer. Some of the times you just move out as soon as you can. This is my vision board for 2025. A lot of things this did happen, and I'm so glad. It just gives you a different feeling when you set up a goal or a vision for your year and you see it happening, and then you come back to this and you feel like you manifested it. So I'm truly grateful for that. Definitely something that I'm bringing with me. This is, again, a common planner, so it comes with this spread for you, lay it out for you to use it in. I think this is the way that Catherine uses it, hers in her planner, where she just set a goal for the year in the different areas and then divide it into steps all the way to daily steps. And I love that so much that I am carrying it with me in my new system, so I will share it with you in a moment. But yeah, the quarterly, something that I was looking forward to giving it another try, but truly it's, I don't know, I think it's too much work, truly. And since I'm tracking my life in a different format, I didn't think that I wanted to do it in a double area. So I did try a few things here and there, but it's just nothing sticks, so it's fine. The monthlies are going to be something that I always approach the same way in a way. I truly just do my plans for the month, what I know that it's coming in the future, like it's something that has a due date or a specific date, and some other things that I do on a daily basis, reminders and things like that. Sometimes I have been tracking in one way or another on a monthly basis and weekly basis and even daily. I think that for the past few months I stopped doing it because I was tracking everything in my life data area or collection, but it's something that I like to do and I just like the visual of it. So these are the monthlies. Again, nothing will be changing in here. I think the approach to the actual planning is the same. This is the current month, so we are traveling at the end of the month. So we are on the 20th now. Just go ahead and mark that in here. 20th now, so we just have a few things to get done around the home. We are, like I said, RV living, so we get to store everything away, just leave it in storage for as long as we need, and that's what we're going to do. So we do have to prep for that. A lot of things have to be disconnected, like batteries, make sure that the fridge's solar power is connected and everything. A lot of things had to happen for us to be able to do that, so we have to pre-plan it. So I have a few things here that I want to do before we leave. And that's that. I had already prepped for December in here, but since I didn't have the weeklies available here on December, since I used them last year, thinking that I was already going to be moving out, since I just created this habit of moving out on December every year since I have started using communities, I yeah, I used the weeklies, and then this year decided that I wanted to stay, but then I don't have the weeklies, so I'm still gonna have to move. So I might come back in here and do some backlighting just to kind of have it all filled out, but we'll see how that goes. I'm gonna leave the space available. In here, I wanted to do like a capture of review of the entire year with pictures and just thoughts and whatever. This is the January 2020, I guess the following year calendar, but I don't see why I will need this, so I was thinking covering it up with a review, or I guess a summary of the year. So we'll see if that happens as well. Then we get to the weeklies. Like I said, I started here in December, so I started from the back. So I started in December 2024. I started using the weeklies just to kind of get myself accustomed to the size. This was a new size for me, the basics, and just kind of getting used to the planner, and also I just wanted to move in already. So there is the December planning in here, and then I moved back to the beginning here on January and started using it. All the weeklies are very different. I think this week I skipped it for whatever reason. I don't know if it's that I didn't need it because of the way it is set up, and I'm using a redated planner, so meaning this was a 2023, this was a 2024 planner, and I whited out all the dates and redated it for 2025. So I'm thinking that I had an extra week in here, I can remember, but I just used it to map out my ideal week. Very rarely I came back to this to revise it or use it for anything, but I liked the idea of having it available in case I needed some, I don't know, some guidance on those weeks that you have a lot to do. This is some other weekly spreads. I did changed around every so often, just switching and testing new ways to use this. I wanted to really master the time tracking, and I want to say have come comfortable with it, but I don't find it as useful in my case at this moment. So like I said, I tried in some different aspects or some ways. So basically, let me see if I think that this is what it means. So I would write down what I was doing for the time that I think it took me, from the time that I think I started doing whatever it is. And then the line represents how long that took me, and then when I stopped to move on to the next task, and so on. So all these lines throughout the days, that's what that means. It's not necessarily to the minute, but I think it helped me visualize where I was spending most of the time, I guess. If I color-coded it, it would be much easier to pinpoint instead of having to read what I wrote. But sometimes I just liked more the clean, I guess, view of the week. So this is weeklies, and then some of the times, like this week, it was more of a friend's week. So I just set it up a little different, just doing the week on this side in a horizontal way, and just writing a summary of the day, what we did, and doodling one thing that we did that day. And yeah, I like this part. Then we're back to the regular one. I guess this is the one that I use the most throughout the year. I love this little trackers in here. This is another attempt to switch things around. So I divided the page this way. So this represents the morning time, the afternoon, and evening. And the idea was to visually see where I was spending the time, and for me to ensure that I was staying on task and balanced, not necessarily spend the entire day doing that one thing or whatever. I don't think it worked, so I don't think I tried it again. There's more tracking in here. I love these trackers. I think I shared this in my Instagram, and yeah, I like doing this. This was actually just me trying to see how energetic I was, how focused I was able to be at a certain time of the day based on energy. So it looked like at the beginning of the week, I started strong, like maybe in the mornings I would be more energized, and then towards the end of the week it was more in the evenings. I think that was a very good way to kind of understand that I am changing. I used to be a morning person, I want to say. I used to get up at 4 in the morning and be able to do everything that was the priority of the day super early in the morning, and then I had the rest of the day off-ish. So I would like to be that person again, but it's just not happening. Now, knowing that, I get to plan my days a little different. So here I tried it again, and I did some other times, like keeping a log of a highlight of the day, just adding different things to my weeks to make it more attractive and fun, and I don't know, just like attractive to use. Here I started color coding. This is also something I shared on my Instagram, and I really truly loved it. I still use this approach in one way or another. It's just me color coding the day. So in here I dedicated my first 2 days of the week for school, the next 2 days for content creation, and the final day for my personal to-dos, like meaning like just me. If I wanted to fix my hair, my nails, my do masks, or just sleep in all day, it was a me day. And then the weekend it's more of a family and home kind of day. So I did the same here. And we get to this week. This one's a little different, I think. Let me see. I think it's just the same anyways. It's just the way that I divided it. So I have been trying to shorten my weeks to 4 days a week of work. So that was me attempting to do that. Then we have some other notes in there. When there's either a holiday or a day that we are not doing anything specific, we're not doing chores or to-dos or whatever, we're just doing that one thing. Like here, for example, it's Independence Day, and I guess I wrote about what we did, but I didn't want to track everything that I was doing throughout the day. I will just do this, write big and cover the entire thing. Just like here, we were traveling to Tampa, Florida, to spend some days there celebrating my son's birthday. So we visited different areas, and that's what I did. Just did the highlight of that day. Anyway, I think that's a way to fill in the day and know why there's no to-dos on that day. Now you'll see when I started my internship that things start to change a little. Here is more of a conscious planning and reviewing my day and all of that stuff. And then once I start my internship, things change and start getting a little bit more empty and boring again. So you will notice this is another week that we had friends over, so I did the same approach that I showed you before, where I decided for the week in a horizontal how many T's way, and set it up a little different to make it a little bit fun. And this is when I started my internship. So anything in red, it's about that, just getting ready for it, doing to-dos, following up with things that I needed to do in tasks, and I was a mess. So I tried to use red only for work so I could see what I was spending my time, and I call it work, but it's an internship. So yeah, as you can see, it was taking me the entire, not the entire day, a good chunk of my day. After that, it got too boring, so I stopped using the red for work, and I just tried to go back to what I was doing before to make it a little bit more interesting. The only difference is that I was not tracking my actual time. In this case, I was trying to track the to-dos for today, just trying to make sure that I had all the most important things covered for the day. And then I tried to go back to this sort of entry for the week. I didn't want to continue to do to-dos on my actual planner. So at this time, I think I introduced my work notebook, which is a cheap notebook. You can find this one at Walmart or the dollar store. It's a regular notebook, and I think I want to call this an A6, and it's perfect for to-dos, for anything that you don't care about, that you do care about, but it's not something that you're going to archive or you need to make it pretty or any of that. Those are random notes that I will shred once I'm done using that. So I wanted to go back to something pretty, and I went back to this sort of approach where I just write down, I don't know, like an entry for the morning, what I did at the midday, and then something at the end of the day, some doodles here and there and stickers. And this is I took this from my approach when I was in my Wonderland to do. This was one of my favorites because it gets me, I guess, more space for journaling and reviewing my day in a more of a reflective sort of way, even though I do have to-dos and tracking and all that stuff. Then I went back to that not time tracking, but to-dos tracking, but incorporating the journal sort of way. So in here, I'm just writing down everything that I'm thinking about the day, what we did and all that stuff. In here, I'm adding to-dos, I'm adding focus areas or main priorities for the day, and then some to-dos or tasks that I either completed or wanted to complete that day, and then a snippet on my reflection or summary of the day in a different color, just to kind of give it some color there, and then some doodles here there to represent whatever it is that happened on the day. And I think I like this approach. I even included the weather in the top here. And then we get to my final week, which is a lot happening. So a lot of things are moving here and there. So instead of writing them down, I just used this little clear flags, and I just wrote the exact same thing that I want to do. And I'm trying to move them to the day that I want them to happen, but other things are happening. So that's why I did that, because I knew that things have to move around. So I'm just going back in here and adding what we did on the day instead of adding what we will do on a day. So at the end of the day, I'll come back in here and I'll just write down the actual things that did happen. Because I started adding here in some areas, I started adding things that I wanted to happen, and a lot of it started moving. So in here, all of these little arrows means that I had to move it to a different day. In a way, it's just wasting time. That's why I started to do the flags. Then I have to-dos for today at the bottom, and I included the weather here and the priorities. So I liked this spread, and this time I took it all the way to Sunday because we did have a lot of stuff to do. And then the final week that I'll be on this notebook will be, actually it is this day. It is this week. Today is Thursday, the 20th. So I have 3 more days, and then that's gonna be pretty much it, because on the Monday we are road tripping to be closer to the airport. We are pretty far from the airport, so we decided to go the day before so we can be closer and not rushing in the morning. Yeah, so what I decided to do instead of with this spread was to add in what I know is going to happen, and then I'm thinking that on Sunday maybe I'll do a snippet of what I think will happen or what I want to happen, or like a declare what I want my day to look like on traveling day and all that stuff, and then a letter to myself, to, I don't know, like a thankful gratitude letter to close in the notebook. And then that will be the final day on this book, which again, it's a bittersweet, but I am content that happy that I got to spend that much time on this notebook and that I get to start using my new ones. The rest of the notebook, you already know, I have some trackers in here. I will be finishing my November tracker till the last day, and hopefully when I come back from our trip, I can backdate and fill in the last one. I do want to see them all complete, so hopefully I'll have the energy to do all of that. But everything else, it's good to go. I don't find useful for me to come back in here and do anything because it's not necessary. So yeah, the only thing that I will be tracking or backfilling, I guess, will be the monthly for December and those trackers, and that's it. So these are my dailies, which I would just do as normal until the last day, until the 23rd, and then the rest will just stay here. I don't have that much pages left anyways, so this is where I am at. I'm just going to move this because I don't need this. Actually, no, never mind. I don't need it here. Okay, so I will off camera be filling in my journal for today, or my entry for today, but I wanted to go through this one before I show you my new system. So I hope you're still here and you're excited for it, because I am. Okay, so I'm going to move this one to the side, sip a little bit of coffee. And then here's what we have. So some of these you already saw because I shared on my last video where I was switching things around. I switched from my B6 to a Homeschooling Weeks Mega, and the whole idea is again to use this as my everyday carry full everything planner for the entire year. I started setting up a lot of things in here, so let's see if we have some time to go through that. So the first thing that I did was adding my stickers to the front. I wanted to do like a cover, clear cover, but the one that I ordered was for the regular weeks, and it didn't fit right, and I tried cutting it and it just didn't look right, so I'm not using that. So I'm just leaving it like this. It is a plastic cover, one of those bendy sneaker cover, so I don't see it getting all messed up anyways, so I'm gonna leave it like that. Just added my stickers there, and then I covered the front with washi tape that I got from Japan. I've been storing it away and not really using it, so I decided just to go for it and use as much as I can. So I went in and added the cover here. So all of these stickers I got from Japan at some point, either from the Tokyo station or Daiso or different stationery stores that we went to. I think I got some from Loft as well. Just using what I have. I'm leaving this one open. I'm not sure yet what to do, if I want to do like my vision board in here or if I am gonna skip that for now on this one. I don't know, I'm still thinking about it. So it's there available. In here I'm tracking again what we traveled, so I went back and highlighted the ones that we traveled last year, so 2025, and since we were traveling at the end of the month to a different place for a little while, as you can see, I went ahead and color coded that as well, like towards the future. And we don't come back until January 9th, so I went ahead and colored it all the way there. And then here I'm color coding to where it is that we are going. At some point I might cover this because I don't like to share exactly where we are at the moment. We'll see how that goes. Hopefully by the time I share, we are already in a different place, so we'll see. Here I am using this one like the same way that I had used it before, where I track my personal things that I want to see in a yearly overview, but this time I'm tracking them just a tad different. So I don't know if you can see. I don't think you'll be able to see. Let me see if I can get you closer. So I went ahead and divided the columns with a pencil, so I'll have 3 areas that I can color in for the same day. That way I can have like a guide of where to color code. But I'll be tracking 3 areas. So personal, self-care, health, feelings, and the days of the month. And I'm color coding it. So instead of adding symbols or anything, I might add symbols for other things. Maybe, I don't know. But I wanted to color code it so I can visually see the whole data at the end of the year. And I'm starting at the back of the planner. Since I'm moving it in December, I wanted to have everything in the same place, even though it will have 2025 December instead of 2026, but it's okay. So I will start tracking from the back, and then I'll move to January. And then here in the top, I am thinking I decided to track income. So I'll have income for the month, like a total. So the total income for the month minus expenses, and then the balance, whether that is positive or negative, hopefully positive always. And then I will have the monthly summaries for an overview for the year. I think that could be very useful just to know the year totals. So that's what I'm tracking over there. And then we get to the monthly planning, which I haven't set up. I'm thinking, I was waiting for a grabby sub box that they were sending me in the mail for December, but I'm not sure that I will make it here on time, so I might just have to set it up before that. We'll see. And then I just clipped everything in here, and we get to the weeklies, which I haven't set up yet. I'm thinking I'm gonna set them up maybe later today just to have it ready for the first week of December. We'll see. And then we get to, there's nothing here. So this is my weeklies. So I can just go ahead and add this one to something else. I don't know, I'll use it later. But I like to keep them together somehow. That's not gonna hold the whole bunch of weeklies, but at least to keep the monthlies together so I can go back and forth like this from the month to the weekly faster way. So we'll see. So these are the weeklies, and we get to the blank pages. So the very last one here is where I had the index page, and then some other page that they provide for you in here, I forgot. But the index page and that other page, I don't necessarily see myself using this, so I went ahead and covered them again with the same washi tape and different layout. After that, I decided to add my goals plan for 2026 following the common planner layout like that I show you. So I'll have an area to add my actual vision, what I want my life to look like in certain areas, and then I'll start planning the other areas. I divided this section horizontally with pencil so it didn't look too dark, and then only the vertical lines with the pen, just to kind of give it a different dimension and not too busy, I guess. For when I start adding information, I do have to kind of sit down and think about what I want. But yeah, I went ahead and added all the sections, so I have plenty of space. I have the exact same layout as the common planner. The only difference is that I'll have this column here to check mark and track the progress, which I don't know how I'll do it, but that's the idea for that. After this, I added my life data tracking for the month in a summary version, because I had divided the tracking like I showed you in here. So we'll track a lot of stuff in here, so I don't have to, I didn't have the space in here, so I divided it. And here I will be changing what it is that I'm tracking each month, so it is not pre-filled. I'm thinking I will fill it in that same month just to decide what it is that I want to track. But for December, I already know that I want to track how I'm feeling in terms of anxiety or stressed, and did I take medication for it, yes or no. And I'm going to be tracking those two things. So the top portion will be with a bar, so up and down I've got like a data tracking bar thingy, and then at the bottom it will be just a symbol of check mark yes or X no. So we'll see how that works. Then this one is by mistake left it open. I skipped, I don't know how, so I just have it available for whatever other spread that I want. This one is one that I look forward to use. Again, I have been slacking, I guess. I'm tracking my monthly bills in terms of making sure that they are taken care of. Although they are happening, everything is automatic, but I like to see when that happened, and sometimes I find myself asking or having to go through my transactions to see when that happened, and I don't want that to continue to be the case. So I went ahead and decided to create a spread for my bills. So the idea is that each month I will come over here and write down how much I paid for this specific item, and then I still have some other areas down here to add more. Hopefully not, but if I need to, there's more. So then I'll have the entire year there. Then here I am tracking adulting at the top and then medication at the bottom. So basically just wrote down the different medications that we have on prescribed. And then the idea is that I would use here a dot, like an open circle, when the medication needs to be refilled, and it's going to be filled in when I actually did receive it. So that's the plan and the idea of it. And then here I have the last time that we did anything in terms of adulting, like last time we went to a physical or dentist appointment and things like that. So I will write those in here and then just cross it out to the month that we actually did it. In here I added the homeschooling spread that I had created in my common planner. It's one that actually truly really helped this year, so I went ahead and added it again in here. Again, we have the class, the topic that we're talking about or subject that we're covering. In here I will add the unit. So let's say that the course has 10 units or 10 sections or units, whatever. I will write those in here and write a little bit of what it is about, and then I will add the date that I feel it's completed, and finally I will add a symbol to mark if I'm satisfied with the outcome or if it is something that we either skipped or again we get to try again at some other point. So we'll see how that goes. So I'm thinking I will start in here and then continue here, but it depends on how the course is, how much content it has. So I left this side open in case I need more space, or I don't know. We'll see how that goes, but it's all for homeschooling, so just starting on the left for now. Then I get to do my own grad school. I am almost there. I just have 2 more courses to go, so I went ahead and did a game sort of path for me to visualize where I have been and the journey. I guess it doesn't feel like that long, but I did started my first class in 2024, June 2024, and I could have finished this in a year, maybe even less, I don't know, but I have been giving myself the time to really take it slow and not necessarily allow myself to be stressed with it. Otherwise it wouldn't be as enjoyable or doable. I would have maybe given up or whatever. Yeah, so here it represents the day that I actually completed the course. This one I failed it and I had to retake it again. I think that's totally my fault. That was not really, it wasn't a difficult class, it was just me not being dedicated to it. Yeah, I had to retake it again, but finally finished it last month and I'm done with that. So just 2 more classes to go and I'll be done with my grad school. So just have that there to celebrate. And then we get to my first weekly layout for the month of November. Like I said, I am moving here next week on the 24th. So I went ahead and set up everything that I think I might need for my weekly. So in here I have my track for sleep, mood, supplements, water, and just anything that is personal. I divided them in different areas. So this is more personal stuff, this is more healthcare, whether or not I took my skin medication. If I'm feeling anxious, I still want to track it in here. The tea, meaning like if I switch a non-healthy beverage for something healthier, if I went for a walk and all that stuff. And then here how much time I'm working on my internship. I just want to see the and time. So I have from 0 to 7 hours, which is the average. And here I am adding myself some reminders of what I want to happen on certain days. I know that traveling, you can plan some things, but not necessarily it's going to go as planned. So we'll see. Hopefully we get to keep some control there. But I do have some to-dos in here and just highlighting Thanksgiving with family. And yeah, and then here it's a running to-do list. So anything that comes to mind that I think I still want to get done either during this week or the following week, I'm going to add it in here. I'm thinking I want to do like a reflection in here. I don't know yet, but the space is there. And that is it. So that's the weekly. And then at the end of it, you know that we have this other spreads. I haven't really played with them yet, but I am thinking I want to use them. So this one is for the memories of 2026. And I'm thinking I want to do this as a quarter, either a quarter revision or review reflection for the topic. So in this case is food, friends, times, and open space. So I'm thinking it could be for the quarter or it could be in a line. So I think they divided them per line, so you can add multiple things to just one space. So I don't know how I'll use it, but that's the idea. Here I'm thinking to do like really go in here and add 100 things that I want to complete in 2026. Not too super big goals or anything, just something simple that I get to, I don't know, review at the end of the year to see how many of them did I actually do. And here is where I'm going to be reflecting on different things. There is 3, 6, 7, 14 of these for the entire year. So that's plenty to just summarize for every month or every 2 months or so. Add something that you've been liking and enjoying for that time. And it's the beginning of this area. I don't know that I will add any of these measurements, but I might leave it there. And here are the measures of the page. I always go back to this when I'm trying to set up my layouts. So I'm going to leave it there. And I might do a cover here. I don't know, just to separate the section. I don't know. And then I just added the pocket back here so I can use this to hold my planner, and that's what I'm doing. Just keeping it closed like this. Let me put my calendar back in here. So this is how I'm going to be using my daily makeup. It is, again, it's everything that I need in one place. So truly, I'm looking forward to something smaller in profile to use. And then this one is one of those cheap ones that you get at Walmart. It's like $1 or something, and I'm using it for content planning. Instead of bringing in my my A5, I'm using it to just little ones to just write down what I want to do for a certain time of the month. So I do have to kind of pre-plan it ahead, but that's the plan. And then some pictures and stickers and stuff. So this is my actual everyday carry. I am thinking I might take out my weeks from here to use it like around the house or whatever, instead of carrying everything with me, because I do want to also have this in here where I'm holding stickers and things, papers and whatever that I want to use in here. So I'm thinking I'm gonna hold it back here. It is gonna be chunky if I carry it like this all the time, but around the apartment I guess I can leave it as is, and if I'm out and about I can just take the weeks with me out of the system. You know what I mean? So this is my everyday carry. Now, since you know that I love my memory keeping, I love my daily pages, I love having this area here to write down anything that's in mind, everything that's happening, adding pictures and stickers and you name it. I decided to get a complete and separate book for that, and for that I decided to go with the Ali Reyes notebook. This is a 1,000-page Tomo River paper notebook. It is chunky, and if I was at the beginning, I was, I guess, thinking I wanted to do something thin or small, but I guess, yeah, I don't know, I got carried away and I decided to go with this one. And the idea is that I want to have space to just go free and not feel constrained in terms of spacing. Oh, for the mega, since we do have the daily the pages, I forgot to mention, I will be using those for memory keeping as well, but it's just for highlights, little notes for the day, to have a summary of what happened on a specific day, since I don't have the entire year. I won't have a page per day. So in this one, I went ahead and moved in yesterday. I decided to just go for it. The linen, I'm not sure if you've seen a lot of these notebook. I try to look myself for other people setting it up and talking about it, and I haven't really seen much. Basically, just like a very quick overview. It is a linen cover, so this is like a fabric. It feels very thin, so it feels like it's just cardboard covered in fabric. It has her embossed name in here, which is not necessarily my favorite, that I don't like brands like that in your face. So I thought about coloring it, but since it is linen, I don't know how I will cover that. So anyways, it's just staying there for now. I'm holding some sticker notes and my dates with a cloth and paper magnet. I decided to go for these dates this time around. These are the same dates that I've been using for the dailies, but in this case they are, I mean, they still squared anyway. I can take it out. So it's still square, but the shape of the design is more ovals. I like that view. It looks a little bit more vintagey to me. I went ahead and rounded the corners. As you can see, I love rounded corners, so I have holding a calendar right there just in case, and I added this clear pocket so I can switch things around. So I just added a picture of myself there. And I created a pocket with this page that serves no purpose in here, so I decided to make myself a pocket in here. It doesn't really last long since it is what it is, but I'm holding a Filofax yearly overview that I'm thinking I never used for 2025, so I'm thinking to read it, redate it, and use it for 2026 to track something. I don't know what it is that I will track, but I have it available, so I want to give it some use. And then this old library card that I found in an old book that it has some information there from a school, but the back portion is open, so I was thinking to use it for reading. And since I'm going to be tracking for my reading there, I decided to add some of my stickers from Barnes & Nobles in here. In here, I added a little area to add a letter to myself. I haven't written anything in it, but I wanted to do like a letter to myself to maybe read it at the end of the year or something like that. I love doing those. Key area here, so I have a few sticky notes in here in case I do change, but the key is what I have in here. So I will have personal, family notes, goals, and tracking, some kind of tracking. There's really not much going in here. I just got this notebook yesterday and there's 1,000 pages, so there's a lot that's has to happen here for it to look lived in, but at least I started. On the left here, I decided to do my vision for the year in terms of how I want me to progress and evolve this year, and things that I want to cherish a little bit more. So I want to grow in terms of I want to change my style, meaning be true to who I am and my style, what I like. I want to travel more. I want to enjoy the simple things in life, be more mindful of my time, and just slow down and enjoy just self-care and family time. And then I started with my entry for the day. This was yesterday, so I went ahead and added the same approach that I've been doing already in my common planner anyways. So adding the sticker for the day, what day it is, and a snippet of what it is that's happening on that day. So I added a picture there of my weeks in my notebook as my new system for 2026. And then I divided the next page just so I remember that's how I want to use it, and that's that. Now at the end of it, I went ahead and did some pen testing because I wanted to know how bad it was, I guess. This is Tomorrow River paper anyways. I don't know exactly which version of it. I know there's been some changes, but yeah, I just wanted to test the ones that I reach out the most. And I do see some ghosting in here, but that happens in all my planners anyways. So with that specific pen anyways. So I went ahead and started writing, just wrote what it was and if I liked it or not. And then I even tested my acrylic markers and it works just fine. So yeah, tested my fountain pen, but it still, I don't know. I want to love my fountain pen, but it's too much work for me to make sure that I am using this so it doesn't look messy. And yeah, so yeah, that's pretty much it. Like I said, I did round at the corners, so it took me a while there. It's not perfect, but it works. And I'm keeping it close with this rubber band from the Travelers Company, just in case I need to hold anything in here and I want to make sure that it is still in place. I'm going to be having that with me. And yeah, this is my planner system, I guess, for 2026. It looks much more than I was planning at the beginning, but it is because I have pretty much everything in here, from stickers and stationery goodies that I want to use in my notes, planning for my content, my everyday carry, and a chunky journal for my daily pages that I'm foreseeing hopefully lasting me more than 1 year. So hopefully that makes sense. I guess it makes sense in my head. I also have a Me Plus, I think it's called, little rings coming in the mail. They are sending that one to me for a review and test it out. So I'm thinking I might use that one in my Filofax pocket as a companion hybrid system where I get to switch things around and make them more portable if I need to at some point throughout the year. So stay tuned for that one. But yeah, that is going to be part of my system as well. Just like this system, the rings portion has been more of a hybrid companion approach, and then a bound book to hone in and collect my entire year. So that's the one that I decided for. The reason I decided for the Hobonichi Mega is because of that, because I want it to be my one and only for the entire year. And even though it's going to be a mix of journal in a different notebook, and this one will still hold a year, my data, anything that I'll have to refer to, or if I want to go back and look at what we were doing at a certain time, it should be in here, including those little snippets of the day. So the idea is that I get to do what I was doing already in here, but in a smaller version, sort of. So anyways, I wanted to again share the whole approach with you, the whole system, or most of the system anyway, since I'm still waiting for those rings in the mail for the Me Plus. But this is the main portion of it. So we're saying goodbye to my B6 and then moving into my new systems in this next week. So yeah, I wanted to share that with you. I hope that in some way it gives you an idea, inspiration, or it helps you your own planning system planning. Let me know if you have questions, if you have suggestions, if you want me to cover anything specifically in the next few videos. And until then, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.